Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Can I begin by acknowledging the difficulty of the task faced by health ministers and the Prime Minister in this crisis? We have a proportion of the public that wants to see a full lockdown, irrespective of the consequences to the economy, and we have another proportion of the population that wants to see no lockdown whatsoever, irrespective of the consequences to public health. But even those who reluctantly accept the need for further restrictions must be mindful of the balance between the authority of government and the responsibility of citizens. And I agree with my right honourable friend, the member for Altrincham and Sale, that we need to have sufficient parliamentary oversight during the period for which these restrictions will be in place. And I hope to hear from the Minister a commitment from the government for more debate and regular votes during this period so that Parliament can express on behalf of the public its view. I'd like to say a few words, if I may, about the vaccine programme. Firstly, to congratulate the government on having a world-leading programme on immunisation, with two very difficult elements that have to be kept in balance: supply of the vaccine and an adequate number of vaccinators. And of course, these two elements of the logistics have to go hand in hand and at the same speed. Not an easy task for ministers. We will have to have a surge capacity in vaccinators to be able to deal with demographic and regional differences across the country to avoid rate-limiting steps in the process. I made the point to the Prime Minister this morning about how difficult it has been for former GPs like myself to be able to get back into the vaccinating process and the number of courses we've been asked to complete. I was delighted to hear the Secretary of State announce this afternoon that there will be some changes to that. I think it's the fastest action I've ever known from a government. In 28 years, you raise it with the Prime Minister in the morning, you get an answer from the Secretary of State in the afternoon. And I think there is an easy fix, incidentally, to this by getting those who want to come into the programme to fulfil two of the better modules: the COVID knowledge, the core knowledge for COVID vaccinators, and the minimum requirement of staff returning to the NHS. But we will also require more scrutiny of the vaccine process itself if we're to be confident in endorsing the public health policy that we have. We need to look better at the modelling and the data that is out there about the effectiveness of a single dose in creating sufficient population immunity for that to take place rather than the two doses. And we need to look at an assessment of the Pfizer vaccine in producing continued immune response in the time between the 3-week first dose that was originally envisaged and the extended 12-week period. It's essential that we know that this is based on proper scientific data. The key to the success of the strategy will be our ability to understand this data and enable us to unlock the lockdown and get back to normal. This has been a very difficult time for everyone, Madam Deputy Speaker. We must at least learn the lessons for the future, because this pandemic will not be a once-in-a-generation event.